You want to add to it?
Is that a good answer for you too?
We like to take over the world.
There you go. Okay. Hi, my name is Cal Evans, and this is Hearts and Tales. Hey, I'm here with Colby and Chris, and we're at the Loggerhead Distillery here in Sanford, Florida. Boy, this is a beautiful downtown.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that in a bit. But you guys have got a beautiful setup here, but you've got an interesting backstory. So let's talk a little bit about what I like to call your origin story, because both of y'all are engineers. How does an engineer go, hey, let's make moonshine?
I think mine and Chris's story is going to be a little different. You want to take this one?
Sure. So I'm a software engineer, and I was working for a pretty big company, and they laid me off, and I had, what do you call that? They paid me still. So it split my mind. And I needed something to do. And I had some oranges out in the backyard or the front yard that were always falling. I thought, oh man, that would be cool to ferment those and distill them. And so I got into and I made a bunch of stills, and I started very small with like a little pressure cooker, and then I got bigger, and then I got bigger, and then eventually I had one that was stood about 10 foot tall. Mm-hmm. And I never distilled those oranges. I had distilled a lot of stuff, but I never distilled those oranges, and that haunts me to this day.
We'll get to them.
And then after my time ran up and I needed to get a new job, I actually was hired by Colby at the company he worked for at the time. And we would go to lunch with the crew almost every day, and we talked about my distilling. And I said, man, he said, I'd really like to open a distillery. I said, yeah, I would too one day. And we talked about it for, I think, went on for like 2 years. And then Colby had to leave the company. And he said, we're going to do this? And I said, okay. And I think it was like a week later he found this property. And
Gotta move fast.
we were in business as far as starting the process.
That's it. That's how it happened.
Wow, that is excellent. Hey, after we finish this, we got to talk, because professionally they call me a software engineer. I'm not sure how much, these days I teach more than anything else, but we need to sit down and talk, because we probably got some same horror stories. Well, this is a beautiful facility. Most people can't see it, but there's a window right back there. If you're sitting here at the bar, you can watch them distill and label and all that kind of fun stuff. And I was telling Colby, you said there's an apartment above, and if I lived in an apartment above a distillery, I would just have my checks forwarded here, because I would probably live here. So, Loggerhead. Now, of course, to me, as a retired scuba instructor, Loggerhead turtles are just precious to us. When we out in West Palm, we'd go out, and if we didn't see 3 or 4 turtles on every dime, we almost felt like we owed people their money back, because there's turtles everywhere. But we're a little bit inland up here. Tell us about the name. Where'd the name come from, and why'd y'all choose that?
Well, when you grow up here in Florida, Chris grew up over on the coast, and from Central Florida, you have very easy access to either coast. Mm-hmm. You grow up here, you surf, you boat, you fish, and the same thing. If you're out surfing and you don't see a turtle, or you go out on a boat fishing and you don't see 2 or 3 of them, it's like your day is not complete. Mm-hmm. So I think it was one of the first names that we threw out. I've had companies where we arm wrestled, we argued, we put names in a hat, and we vetoed and argued. This one was the very first name that we threw out. Chris and I agreed immediately. That's it. Florida's the largest nesting ground of loggerhead sea turtles. It just kind of meant Florida to us. It was symbolic of Florida to us. So that's why we named it Loggerhead Distillery.
Well, that is cool. Yeah, when we were, especially during mating season, I had a class out on the boat, and we counted 14 on one dive. And I'm like, wow. But I just love the fact that y'all have leaned into that with your labels and everything. The logo behind us is just very cool. Let's talk about one of your products. Now, we don't do product pitches here, but this one's interesting. The blonde rum. Oh, I almost dropped that bottle. The blonde rum. It's got 4 ingredients, if I'm reading this label right. It's got Florida molasses, and I love the fact that y'all are using local ingredients where possible. Water, yeast, and did I read that right? Love?
That is correct.
Tell us about that.
One of the ingredients we list. I think it comes down to, for us at least, just the pride of making a product that people enjoy, that people can take home and enjoy. Sometimes, you know, when you're an engineer, you work on a project, you can go a year, you can go more than that. You just mentioned, and it's hard to point to something and say, I made that today. With this, it's a little bit different. You do have a lot of art and a lot of science, and they come together with a product that people can take home, and at the end of the day, you can say, I made that today.
That is very cool. Like I was telling you earlier, I like most craft spirits, but rum is always my favorite. So I'm looking forward to the tasting so that I can get a taste of that.
I think you're gonna like it.
Now, you make rum, and a lot of people down here in Florida make rum because we got so much sugar.
Sure.
But you guys have got a vodka, a gin, a bourbon, and a single malt whiskey. Now that's unusual from the craft distilleries that I've taken the tours, and I've been on about 20 tours. Most people have 1, maybe 2 solid products that they'll push. Was it just that you kept finding things that you wanted to make, or did were you just looking to make some variety?
Yes, a little of all of that. I think we were trying to fill that hole in Chris's heart that he never fermented those oranges. And so we did what we liked. We did what people were asking for, and we wanted to have a variety of different things to give to different people, because different people have different taste profiles and things like that they enjoy. If you make just rum, but people don't like rum, they might not come visit you. But when you give them a variety, they tend to like it. So. That's what we chased.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I get if they don't like rum, they don't come visit you. And I got a brother-in-law that doesn't like rum, and I'm perfectly happy with that. So, Now, you've got an apple pie moonshine. And, moonshine, as much as we get it down here in Florida, moonshine's never been one of my favorites. But done right, it can be very good. And apparently y'all have figured out how to do it right. Because not only did you, your apple pie moonshine win an award, you sold out of it immediately after that. People liked it that much. Talk to us about your apple pie moonshine. What makes it so great?
My opinion, we use real apple cider. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things. It's a little sweeter. It's a little lower in proof. And that tends to hit a taste profile that people seem to enjoy. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when you want to try a moonshine or you get a moonshine, they're looking to just blow your face off, and that's the novelty of some moonshines. Yeah. But if you want one that you can sit around the campfire or something and sip on at night, this is the one for you. This is the one for you. So it has it did sell out, and we actually decided at one point we were going to make it seasonal.
Oh.
And that was a mistake, because everybody who came in here, why don't you have the apple pie moonshine? Why don't you have the apple pie moonshine? So we decided to move it back to full time.
So it's a regular staple now.
It's a regular staple now, yes, sir.
That is very cool. Now, I always love to ask this question. Tell me about the batch that went wrong, because everybody's got one.
Well, we wanted to do a Florida rye, and completely in-house here. Some of our single malts, we do a group project with the local breweries to actually do the wash. Sometimes. But the rye we're doing completely here, and we were using a unorthodox method to making it using a screw press to separate out. And unfortunately, when we got it ground to fine. And rye is very difficult to work with. And having it fine grind, so I'm in the middle of this batch all by myself, and I can't get anything out of the screw press. I've got 150 gallons to go through, and there was nothing I could do. And I have made an ungodly amount of mess in the process. And I think it was on a Saturday. And I can't remember, did you come in that day? Or was
You might have called me in a panic.
I think I did call you in. And we shut it down and reset. But that day was a hard lesson to learn. But we got through that rye, and we have it in a barrel. And I'm not sure exactly when we're going to release it, but
It's getting close.
Really?
it's getting close.
Getting close. It's a Florida black rye.
Ooh.
So that one is a local grain as well.
Nice. Hey, now we're sitting here in this beautiful bar, and I can imagine that tonight about 7 or 8 o'clock, this is going to be a hopping joint. But it wasn't always this way. The laws in Florida have been slowly changing. Originally, we couldn't even make moonshine, and now you can not only sell it, but you can sell cocktails, and you can show people how to use your product. How does that work into your business, and how does it make you feel to be able to show people or to showcase your product in cocktails?
It was a fantastic change. When I travel, I try to go to smaller craft distilleries. I try to find one in the area, and I'll go see them. And there was Oregon, I think, was one. Maybe Colorado was another one. I went, and I expected kind of the same thing, just do a sampling and then maybe buy a bottle and go home. And they're serving cocktails. And I was like, why isn't Florida doing this? And thankfully, they did make that change during COVID. We're allowed to make cocktails now. And before, we kind of gave samples to our customers, and when they taste it straight, of course it's going to be different than when they put it into a cocktail. So you give them the spirit, and you kind of hope they like it enough to buy a bottle, right? And spread the word. Now that we can make cocktails, we can kind of show them, and we intentionally try to keep our cocktails not basic, but it's simple enough to make at home.
Yeah.
Like 3 ingredients, maybe 4, and that's about it. But we're not using like smoked grains of paradise and things like that in our cocktails. But we want to show them what they could do at home and what it would taste like at home. And we find that in addition to like showcasing that spirit in a cocktail, that people actually respond a lot better. And they're like, yeah, I want to take that home and make this cocktail. And a lot of them are, they're asking for our cocktail recipes to go home with. So it really, really has helped.
Yeah, I see the cocktail cards over on the window. What's your favorite one that you make?
My favorite cocktail that we make, I try to rotate at least 2, maybe 3 cocktails every quarter or so, in tune with some of the holidays. Like we just had some specialties for St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day before that. But my favorite that we keep on the menu is probably our what I call a GTR, which is a gin and tonic with rosemary. So it's our key lime gin, a little bit of lemon juice, tonic, and elderflower simple syrup, garnished with some rosemary.
I bet that's awesome. I love, like you said, simple cocktails, because I was watching this video online of this one, and they took a syrup and they mashed raspberries in it, and then they poured bourbon in it. It was one of the major brands, but not one of the brands I drink.
I think I've seen this.
And then they smoke it, and I'm like,
yes,
if you got to do that to get people to drink your bourbon, there may be something wrong with your bourbon.
And then they topped it with Coke.
Yeah,
right. I saw this one.
What the heck is this?
I saw this one. I did.
It's like, but a nice simple cocktail. And one of my other projects is teaching people how to be home bartenders. I've got a whole encyclopedia of that.
Wonderful.
And it just, because that's becoming a lost art, but it is, I love being able to craft a cocktail when Kathy and I, the lovely and talented Kathy, my wife, When we are sitting there watching TV, I love having like a new cocktail once a month and showing her, and I know what she likes and what she doesn't like. We're a split family. She does not like rum, so but we're getting through this.
That's okay. That's okay. It's all yours.
So let's talk a little bit about the fact that this is more than just a distillery. We talked about the turtles, but y'all give back. You have the Spirit of the Ocean project. Tell us a little bit about that, not only what it is, but why it exists.
Well, it goes back to the fact that we see loggerhead sea turtles kind of as a thumbprint of what Florida is, part of what Florida is, and we decided early on that we wanted to donate to sea turtle hospitals, coastal conservation, beach cleanup, those types of causes. So we found the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet, UCF, and the Brevard Zoo that are part of the group that we donate to. So we donate $1 from every retail bottle purchase to those causes.
Very cool. You want to add to it?
Much like our name and how easily we came up with that name, I think giving back to the conservation thing was like an instant, that's not even a question. We're going to do that, and I've always felt really positive about that.
Well, I love that, and I've talked to a couple of different distilleries that contribute back to their community, and obviously you're part of the community here because you're part of the downtown experience. But I love the fact that you're giving back beyond that, and of course, as somebody who has spent many an hour in the ocean, I appreciate the fact that y'all are helping with the turtles. And I used to have a friend who would work the beaches during nesting season and mark the beaches because down there in Palm Beach they're very serious about the nesting, and once those are marked, you don't go near them.
That's right.
And we've got the Loggerhead Marine Center, and we've been with them on one of their hatchings. So they'll send people out, and when they find a turtle hatching, we're sitting in the Loggerhead Marine Center waiting for somebody to radio in. We found one, and and we get to watch them hatch and crawl out, and it was awesome.
Awesome. UCF took us out once to see the nesting over in Cocoa, I think it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was amazed. That the same thing, we're sitting around there, we're waiting, it's midnight, it's 1 o'clock, and, eventually someone radios in and says, okay, we got one, and so we all head out to, kind of take a look. Yeah. And within half an hour, there were probably 30 crawling up on the beach. It was amazing.
That is wild.
Yeah.
We were out, the last time I was out at the beach, we saw tracks of one that had crawled up, and it's amazing. These things are so big and so graceful when you see them in the water, just gliding along, it's awesome. Well, I appreciate the fact that y'all do that. Thank you on behalf of somebody who enjoys the ocean. So it is very nice add-on to the fact that y'all make such great spirits here.
Thank you.
Now, downtown Sanford, I've mentioned a couple of times. Y'all been here since 2019, and what's it been like watching this neighborhood grow up? Because Sanford, the Sanford I remember from the 80s and 90s, this ain't it,
You don't have to tell me. I grew up right on the other side of Lake Monroe. My father actually had a business in Sanford, and I went to school 8 blocks from here.
Wow.
In middle school, so it was a different town. And now I know our audience can't see, but right across the street is brand new construction. Catty corner to us right here is another brand new construction. There's a lot of places that are moving in and revitalizing downtown, and in Sanford is really becoming a destination to itself. So rather than just, oh yeah, we're here in Orlando, let's look around, it's kind of some people fly into the airport right here and spend the whole time in Sanford because it's got beautiful waterfront, it's got the food scene is awesome, the restaurants here are great, and it's got we've got 4 breweries, 5?
I lost track.
We lost track. There's a brewery on every block.
Wow.
And
Well,
one distillery.
You know what distillers call brewers? quitters.
That's
So-
right. That's right. Well, we love them.
Yeah, oh no, and
We're all a big family. Like Chris mentioned, they do help us out with our single malt. They helped us do the wash. We do the fermentation, distillation here, of course. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do exchange barrels with them. I think about 3 of them right now have our barrels.
okay, y'all been here 10 years, close to 10 years now?
7?
7? Okay, 7 years. Where do you see this in 10 years? Are y'all looking to expand? Do you want to come down to West Palm, please? No, where do you see this going?
I'll answer, and then I'll give it to Chris to his answer. We haven't discussed this actually for a while, so this one will be a surprise. But I want to see us expand larger. I know that we can't see inside, but we're pretty cramped in the space that we're in. We have grown to the point where the demand almost requires more space. So I'd like to see us get some more production space and storage space for barrels. I'd also like to see us expand at least, to the state, maybe to the southeast region as far as distribution.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that would be very cool. You want to add to it?
Is that a good answer for you too?
We like to take over the world.
There you go. Okay.
We can do that too.
I do love, when I was driving down, I saw the logo on the window, but immediately the thing I noticed was the barrels. You have the barrels stacked up right in front of the window, and that is a great optic until I got through there and realized that's not an optic, that's a necessity, because that room is just packed with equipment and product and stuff like that. So
It does serve a couple purposes. One, obviously to showcase, that this is a distillery and people can come by and they like to see barrels. They love them. It's also about 10 degrees hotter right in front of that window, so it helps with the the breathing and the expansion and contraction of the barrels.
Yep. Very cool. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be with me here today. This has been fascinating for me. I love these. I know we're going to do a tour and a tasting later, and I just, that's the reason I started doing this, is I went on all these tours, and it's like, people need to hear these stories. There's so many great stories. Audience, thank you for being here with us. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please do us a favor. Click that like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. And I hope you will be with us next week or next month here at Hearts and Tales.